loved the middle school I went to. There was such an excessive amount of homework, and it was more busy work too. And I remember like in 4th and 5th grade, I'd be staying up late and working on it with my mom. Like she remembers, it was just crazy for that age to be sitting there for hours writing up papers, like sitting there crying. So I feel like I definitely would have stayed longer going back at it.
So I've been at MCH, or I had been at MCH for my entire life. So by the time I got to 5th grade, it was time for me to move on, only because I knew that I had to move on to be able to grow. And I think like a middle school year is great, but like for me personally, I needed to move out of this atmosphere, even though I love it so much.
Yeah. Basing off what she said, it's very nice here. I probably would have stayed had I knew that it's a different atmosphere in like the real world. So so it's important to make that transition. I was definitely considering staying.
The atmosphere here of inclusion is just so natural that it can't be forced. But I think at the same time, like the experience of like working with different people here, and especially like working between grades, has helped me so much. Like be able to branch out and not like stay within my social circle, as like I kind of talked about before. Like I'm able to like go outside of who the people I normally talk to in a way that other people just aren't able to.
Yeah, I mean,
given what you experienced in Montessori, and given what you are now experiencing in a more traditional public or private school setting, what would you change if you had the resources and the authority to change? It would be a better experience for young people.
I would try to put have people work in groups more, because it is important. Because like I said earlier, it is very important to work with teams, because that's what humans were made to do, like to collaborate and to help each other figure out new things and to succeed in life, and that's important. And so I would add more collaboration and like team projects.
I feel like there's definitely a lot of things that I would change about the way like the public school system works, especially after being in it for a while. Especially the fact that it has been pretty much fundamentally the same for hundreds of years. They expect, and that they expect people to fit into different boxes. And a lot of people, like a lot of my friends, like I have learning differences, and so do they, and they feel like there's something wrong with them because of the way that we're being taught. But coming from Montessori Children's House, I realized that like people learn in different ways, and that's like perfectly normal for people. Some people to be like learn kinetic, visual, auditory, and different things like that. And if I could change schools, I would incorporate all of that so people can like find the things that they're passionate about and learn that they have their own strengths. And it's not just to feel isolated by the way that the public school system teaches.
I would change that, make it so that every student learns at their own pace, because I mean that's how it was here at MCH, and I saw like all of my classmates, no matter how what level they were, I guess, they were learning more stuff, and they were like going forward quickly, and that's good.
I feel like also adding on to that MCH and at my old school, we would go to different places rather than just staying in the classroom. And that's definitely something I would change, because at IHS, we stay in the classroom and hardly ever go outside of that, which isn't how like life works. You don't just stay in the same spot while you're learning. You should be going to different places. Like I remember at MCH, we would go to the rivers and take different samples, look at that under microscopes, and that's definitely something I feel like would be important to change.
I know in Terpesa, or at least now, that you get to read a lot of books and stuff, because often I find myself reading 3 books at once. So, what is the whole literary thing in public schools?
Well, everybody reads the same books, right? So you get, everybody generally reads the same books at the same points. But for me, they were very good books, right? I was very lucky that the book selections that we had were some books that genuinely changed my outlook on life. In 8th grade, it was Fahrenheit 451. Last year, it was Night by Elie Wiesel. You ever read that? Like, so you don't get as much freedom with what you read, but you get really good books.
Yeah. I would definitely say nature trail. I have so many memories from there, from when we'd build forts together and run around, and then we'd play with the goats and like feed them different leaves. I remember that. And then also on the playground, all the chickens is definitely one of my favorites because you could go and spend time. I love animals, so just spending time with them. And then also we would do gardening, and that was definitely one of my other favorite things because it was just nice, like a nice break and calming.
My favorite spot is also on the nature trail, at the very back of the nature trail where there was that like pine tree.
Oh. My favorite place is probably, okay, so kind of like Amna's way back at the nature trail, except not near the pine tree. Like there would be this little area where you could go up behind the trees, and me and a few of my friends, we would spend so many like hours running back and forth playing tag behind those trees.
I know exactly what you're talking about.